What is up, fam? MMA fans all around the world. Tune in to Pure EVil MMA. What is going on? Happy Memorial Day, Labor Day, Memorial Day, Labor Day, Memorial Day. Whatever day it is, happy to be here. Happy to be going live for everybody here on Pure EVil MMA once again. If we have any new listeners, because I know we have a whole bunch of new subscribers out there. So thank you first off if you are new here. But make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Give us a thumbs up. And for some reason, YouTube doesn't like to let our supporters know when we go live. So make sure you guys hit that little clock with like that little bell or whatever it is, because it'll let you know every time I go live. And of course, I'm going to let you know on my Twitter and Instagram pages like I did right before we went live here. So make sure you follow me there on Instagram at Pure EVil MMA _, and also on Twitter at Evil_Echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. It took me so long to figure out that the camera is backwards. But guys, there's been so much MMA news that's been going on. Even though there was no UFC event that went down this weekend, there was still Invicta FC. Our girl Mallory Martin going in there, doing her thing, going in there and finishing a dominant performance in that third round. We're going to be discussing that momentarily, and also Pearl Gonzalez getting the win. Thumbs up to her. And then BJ Penn apparently is going to be coming back into the mix. We're going to be running through that. I know there's a lot of people that are, kind of on the fence with, being excited to get BJ Penn back in the mix. If he belongs in the mix, it matters who he's against. Also, Sage Northcutt versus Logan Paul. This has been a huge popular topic, but also very cringeworthy. And if you guys know me, well, first off, I did an entire video based on that before the Logan versus KSI fight even went down. So you guys can check that down below here, where I really went off, got really pissed off about it all. And after seeing his performance in there against KSI, dude, take a walk, kick rocks, bro. What are you thinking, dude? But nonetheless, Sage Northcutt, he's ready to get in there with him. So we're going to be talking about that. And like I said, Nate Diaz versus Bruce Buffer. Where's Bruce Buffer's, what's crossing the line for Bruce Buffer? And then also another Diaz brother. We got Nick Diaz, whose domestic violence got dropped. We're going to be diving into that. Rumble Johnson as well. Has anybody seen Rumble? Let's start there. Let's start with Rumble Johnson's new photo that he just recently dropped on his Instagram. Now, I don't know who these other guys are that's with him, but I will say this. You might as well be taking pictures with fucking Paul Harris at this point, because it does not look good at all. Let's go back. Remember the Lyman Good picture with... who else was in that picture? And I'm drawing a blank. This is about 2, maybe even 3 years ago. There was a picture, Vincente Luque, I think, was in the picture with Lyman Good, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong. They took this picture, and everyone was like, he does not look all natural, and he ended up getting popped. I think it was actually Owale Bambouje that was in the picture, and I don't remember exactly who got popped. But when you release those kind of photos, and you see how chubby... Rumble Johnson has gotten in the past year since walking away from the octagon, it just doesn't look good. And there's a lot of people out there like, holy shit, what the fuck happened to Rumble Johnson? Like, he looks like he's gained at least 100 pounds now. I will also say this, like, the guy spent how many years upon years training, eating right, dieting, following a strict rule, his entire rise, getting back in the UFC, making all the way back to that DC fight, and unfortunately losing, retiring. Let the guy do whatever he wants. But of course, if you're going to post pictures, we're going to have something to say. Everyone's going to have something to say. And how can you not just stop for a second when you get to that picture and be like, bro, what's going on? Are you straight? Like, first off, he's gained a lot of weight. And let me pull the picture up for you guys on Internet Explorer. So let me fix this. Bring you guys into the zone here. I think it's right here. Here we go. All right, so let me find this picture, actually, because it's something. Like, I wouldn't bring this up unless it was noticeable that it just doesn't look right. I think it's on his Instagram, so let's go peep his Instagram. All right, where's this photo? All right, let me get out of this. Let me go to Anthony Rumble Johnson's Instagram page, because it looks like he's been in the gym a lot, but I've been following, like, wow, I'm drawing a lot of blanks today. But that whole gym scene where it's just like, there's a lot of guys that are in there that just don't look natural. Here's the photo right here. Here it is. So Anthony Johnson goes, solid workout today with the Redcon crew, which I have no idea what that is, but look at these guys. Like, that does not look right. That does not look like Anthony Rumble Johnson. And if you're around guys like that to just look like, you know, they're on fucking Turnbull or whatever they're doing, like, is that natural? It does not look natural to me. So, if you hang around with dogs, you're bound to catch fleas. Rumble Johnson, there has been rumors that he wants to return to the octagon, but this just sends out red flags all over the place. Now, Anthony looks fucking ripped here. He looks good, but he looks definitely noticeably chubbier since we last saw him. Let's look at some of the comments that people are leaving in here. And this guy used to fight. And this guy used to fight at 170. Darren Till talking about being a light heavyweight at welterweight. He needs to stand next to the heavyweight who was fighting at welterweight. I mean, straight up. And we're gonna be talking about Darren Till as this goes on, because I'm really pissed off at Darren Till getting this title shot when he's missed weight by what, 7 pounds? Like, it just pisses me off. Colby Covington, I understand that, like, people are mad at the things that he was saying, but he was marketing himself so well, and he was making weight, and he was beating the guys that he said he was going to beat, and everyone, like, to beat Damian Maia, that's fucking amazing. Say what you will about where Damian Maia is at this point in his career, but I don't know many people that can get past Damian Maia who are sitting on their couch talking shit. I will fucking throw that out there, because there's a lot of people out there that have no idea what the sport's even about. To see how many people out there throw shade at a lot of these fighters is just, it cracks me up, because it's like, what are you doing? Like, you think you can step in there and beat fucking Damian Maia? There's been a long list of guys who've tried, that trained every day, had experience in the gym for years, experience in the octagon, and they can't figure this guy out. Colby Covington going in there doing what he did was remarkable. Going in there and beating RDA, remarkable. Darren Till, listen, Darren Till, he's been in the UFC for a while. He hasn't had any real fights that stood out until he got to that Cowboy fight. And what got him that fight? It was, you know, he's learning. I'll give him that. He's learning, because what got him the fight was standing up, tweeting something out, talking shit, saying Cowboy Cerrone's Muay Thai is amateur. And this got the entire MMA community in an uproar. They wanted to see Darren Till go in there against Cowboy. Now, I will say this, and it's kind of contradicting what I was just saying. I will say this. There kind of has been a blueprint to how to beat Cowboy, but not many people are going to be able to follow that blueprint and take somebody like Cowboy Cerrone out. But Till did. Then he moves on. He calls out Wonder Boy. Tells Wonder Boy, listen, come out, fight me in my backyard. First off, Wonder Boy's like, who the fuck is this guy? Why would I want to travel into your backyard? You should be traveling into my backyard if you want to take my spot as the #1 contender. But you know what? Kudos to Wonder Boy. He flies over there, and it's just a shit show. Darren Till is late to the weigh-ins. He's saying, oh, I got family issues, this baby, blah, 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 blah. Then he shows up overweight. And on top of it all, the fight wasn't even that good. There was really nothing to even judge in that fight. So how did he get the title shot over the UFC's interim champion? And if you guys heard me go off about this entire interim title thing and how it's really used as a marketing tool, obviously, to the UFC. It's not really like, they're not taking it serious, and it's very upsetting. Let me see what's going on in the chat. But, like, he was... UFC, it's not really like... Recently, he was just caught saying, he was like, I don't give a shit about my family. I don't give a shit about my wife, blah, blah, blah. And people were like, dude, what? You don't care about your daughter? You don't care about your girlfriend? That looked shady as fuck. But yet you were all in an uproar when you were missing weight. It's like, oh, my family comes first. Bro, you're bullshitting everyone. You're bullshitting everyone, and we caught you that day because you showed up to the weigh-ins 7 pounds overweight. So don't feed us this bullshit of saying, oh, it's my family. Oh, my wife. Oh, my girlfriend, she's pregnant. Oh, the baby. When you knew damn well you were late because you weren't on weight. And you had the balls to call out Wonder Boy, make him come over here, go through all this. And then the fight comes, and it's not even that exciting. My favorite part about the fight was Darren Till's walkout. Like, that was a cool moment. I'll give him that. Really quick, let me check in with the chat room. Michael Anzalone, hey Eddie, what's going on? Mike Anzalone, Stewie motherfucking Griffin, of course, squeak squeak. Sup, beautiful people, says BLT. Jeffrey Dahmer in the house, what's going on, Jeffrey? Mini Monty Tone E, mommy, what up? MMA holes, holla peeps. So, let me actually pull in the chat room here for everyone to see, because that's always a plus. And guys, if you are not watching this live right now, make sure you follow me on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify. We're on all that. We're on all that. Finally. Shout out to MMA Holes. I'm trying to get them hooked up with getting onto that platform as well. I did see they made a recent Podbean account. But what are you guys' thoughts about this whole Darren Till thing? Missing weight. Like, it's just a bummer, man. Like, I'd rather much see Colby Covington in there fighting Woodley over Till versus Woodley. Now, there's a lot of people out there that are also saying they see Till winning this fight, which is, understandable, but I'm just not happy. I'm not happy about it. So here we go. We got the chat room in. Mini Manlit Tone E. If you are a new subscriber, man, welcome to Pure EVil MMA. Siri, why is my Siri reading all this? Yo, that's sketch. This is what Siri picked up. Hey Siri, telling winning this fight, which is understandable, but I'm just not happy. I'm not happy about it, Siri. We have a chat with Mini Man Lick Towing E. If you're new, it's still going. It's still going. Oh my God. Stop. So I don't know if you guys can hear, but outside here in the city, they're having a block party. Now, I'm not even allowed to leave. I have to go somewhere at 1 o'clock. I have to go to my little brother's party. We're going to go turn up over there. And that's actually where we watched Darren Till versus Wonderboy. And everyone at the fucking fight party said Darren Till lost that fight. And it was bullshit. It was in his backyard. He missed his weight. Now he's getting the title shot. No, not the interim champ. The interim champ doesn't get the title shot. It's just a bunch of fucking baloney. But getting back to the whole Rumble Johnson pick, what do you guys think about that? Like, did you guys see this fucking picture? Like, what do you even say to that? Like, first off, do you want to see Rumble come back into the UFC? Because I do. And if DC's really going to be retiring when he says, he is, which is probably going to be halfway through next year. I mean, if DC wasn't in the picture, Rumble would be the champion in a lot of people's eyes. This guy went in there, knocked everyone out. We still never got to see him fight John Jones. The fight was this close to happening. And you look at heavyweight, and it's so shallow. Or it's a lot of guys who have been in the game for years and years and years. People aren't tuning in anymore. And how can we forget this? How can we forget the Ultimate Fighter Season 28 just started? And I will admit, I have not watched. I did not see the start to Season 28 of the Ultimate Fighter. Only because, first off, I have not seen any promotions for it. Like, you tune in FS1, yeah, you're going to see a commercial or two. But it's outside. It's reaching people. Like, if I'm watching ID with my girl or whoever, fuck, I'm watching it with now. Usually by myself, honestly. But if I'm watching, like, the ID channel or I'm watching fucking ESPN, if I'm watching E-Entertainment, whatever, they should be marketing there because there's other people outside FS1, and I blame FS1 for the drop in UFC views, the drop in pay-per-views, the disconnect with fans. Listen, when I was in high school, everyone, my teachers, everyone was on board with Ultimate Fighter. Those were the earlier seasons. Everyone was down for it, and it's still exciting. Like, people love their reality shows. People, to this day, are still all about it. Let me fix this for you guys, the little window capture over here, so people can read the comments. Everyone was about it, and then we saw the last season, which was, I believe, the last season was Bisping versus Mayhem Miller. That was the last season of Ultimate Fighter that was on Spike. I forgot what Spike was called at the time. It had a different name. Not TNT. I can't remember exactly what the fucking name of it was. But if you look at the numbers that it brought in, it was a lot. It was a shit ton. Ever since they moved to Fox, and it sounded like such a great deal at the time. Like, oh, this is going to make us more legit, more of a sport, and not just like, a man cave sport, an underground sport. Because Spike had some weird shows, but they were based around men. Between the monster trucks, between like 1,000 Ways to Die, shit like that, where guys were. It was a manly show. It made you feel like more like a man when you would tune in. Moving to Fox, it sounded like a great idea. Dana White was all about it. we were all about it, but let's face it. Channel 271, first off, Spike was on a decent channel. It was on channel like 56 here on the East Coast, or here at least in Connecticut, between Boston and New York. Very, very easy. You're flicking through the channels. The UFC has a fight on that night. Boom, it's right there. FS1, first off, when they said they were signing to Fox, we're like, oh, big Fox. This is perfect. Channel fucking 4 or 5, whatever it is. That's great. This is going to bring the UFC into a lot of people's homes. Nope, we were totally wrong. They hid the UFC on channel 271. They barely promoted it unless it was on FS1. Like, it's just a bunch of shit. And now we see this recent season of The Ultimate Fighter, and I got the numbers right here, wherever my fucking phone went. If you look, and shout out to Jetty, who's been updating us with, you know, season to season, what they're bringing in per viewer, and I always have an interest to that. So season 27 had a little uprising, and I was excited. We had almost the entire crew from that season on Pure EVil MMA, which, you know, shout out to Delani, shout out to Joe Giannetti, shout out to Jay Cuccinello, all of them. But listen, it's played its course over on Fox. But if they keep it in the picture, they keep Ultimate Fighter in the picture when they come back to ESPN, and I can't find that photo, unfortunately. I really think that we can have a comeback for the Ultimate Fighter. ESPN, everyone I know at least that's into sports, basketball, baseball, when you're chilling at the bar, you're chilling at work, you always hear doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo with the updates. Now, everyone has the ESPN app. It's gonna, whether you want to know or not, you're gonna get updates on your phone of upcoming pay-per-views, new fights that are gonna be coming out, you know, all that good stuff. I enjoy that. I think that's a great platform. It really is a great platform for mixed martial artists, or for mixed martial arts fans. Everyone has ESPN. FS1, when it was on FS1, it was always like, or when it was on Fox, it was like, all right, tonight we're going to be having the prelims on FS2, then we're going to be having, or no, even better, we're going to be having the early Fight Pass prelims, which you can only watch if you have UFC Fight Pass, $10 a month. Then we're going to be going to FS2 or FS1. Then we're going to be going to Big Fox. And it's like you're bouncing around, jumping all over the place to keep up 6 hours fucking following a card. And I don't think ESPN's going to, you know, put it all on, you know, on the big ESPN channel. But at least we know it has a safe home at ESPN. So I can't wait for that. And I think that is one of the biggest reasons why we've seen a huge fall in the Ultimate Fighter. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat room. JBH and that chick who used to be on MTV, her husband banned Chris. Jesse B. Hill versus that chick who used to be on MTV, Karen Bryant. Is that what you're talking about, Karen Bryant? You know, that also worries me. Like, where do the people on FS1 go? You have Michael Bisping, Rashad Evans, Karen. Like, are they going to be going over to ESPN? Is that going to continue over there? Because I enjoy that. I enjoy knowing that these fighters have a place to go if they're not fighting. Look at Dominic Cruz. He does an amazing job analyzing fights. Rashad Evans, retired. Where's he go? I think that was a great platform, so hopefully they bring that over to ESPN, because let's face it, I don't want to fucking hear these people talking about the UFC that have no idea what they're talking about. Let's go back, what was it, Skip and Shannon, when they were talking about Nate Diaz being a sumo wrestler. Like, get the fuck out of my face with that bullshit. Like, why are people like me, the MMA holes, Kobe, out here grinding, giving you guys the pure reaction, the real news, knowing what we're talking about, but yet these guys are getting paid, what, over $100,000 a year to feed people bullshit and lies? Get the fuck, like, that pisses me off, man. Like, ESPN is 45 minutes away from me. And matter of fact, I just found out that SNY, I think that's the, what do they play, the Mets or whatever? They just opened up a new place right down the road from me here, so I would love to actually go there and get a job. But the way that ESPN works, and first off, if I worked for SNY or ESPN, I wouldn't be able to even do this, because, listen, and this is a perfect segue to get into the Bruce Buffer versus Nate Diaz. My buddy, my childhood friend that I grew up with, he now works for UFC. He flew out to Vegas. He works for UFC doing the Fight Pass edits. He does the fightographies. He put together the Dan Severn fightography, which is, you know, most notable that you guys probably have seen. And I reached out to him. I was like, bro, I would love to have you on the podcast. Let us know what goes down behind the scenes. being there for Dana White's birthdays, throwing, all this stuff. Like, we want to hear about. But it is in his contract when he first signed with the UFC that he is not able to even utter a fucking word about his opinions in the UFC. Now, if you guys have been following TMZ, if you've been keeping up to date with all the recent MMA news, you probably heard that Bruce Buffer is running his mouth about Nate Diaz. I love Bruce Buffer. His story is fucking amazing. He does an amazing job at what he does. But, dude, don't cross the line opening your mouth up about fighters. Stay in your lane, right? Stay in your fucking lane. You are here to do your job, which is announce fights, get everybody pumped up. You're not here to go on TMZ and bash our fighters. Listen, it boggles my fucking mind how there's so many people out there that get in trouble for, saying anything, even positive things about the UFC. But here's one of the faces of MMA talking shit about the UFC's fighters. That does not look good. And I really hope that Dana White or, WME-IMG went up to Bruce and was like, dude, stay in your lane. Like, you should not be bashing fighters. And if you guys missed it, here's what Bruce Buffer said. TMZ ran up on him, wherever he was, and was like, blah, 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 Nate Diaz. What do you think about Nate Diaz? He was like, Nate Diaz should bow down to the UFC. Bow down? What? You want Nate Diaz to bow down to the UFC? First off, you knew damn well the second you said that, Nate was going to go off on you. You want Nate Diaz to bow down to the UFC. Nate had one of the best comebacks. He was like, bro, you're bound down to the UFC. Like, I've been doing my thing. It's me. I'm about that money. I'm trying to get the money. Bruce Buffer being, Nate got $7 million in his last fight. He needs to shut up. Bruce, mind your own business, bro. That is none of your business at all. And I understand TMZ is approaching him, being like, ask him all these questions, but Bruce should have been a professional and said no comment. Or, don't fucking bash the fighters in the UFC. That just does not look good, man. I'm not about that. I'm not for that. What do you guys think about that? Like, Bruce Buffer, he has a podcast. There's a lot of people out there that, all right, Brian Miner, he was one of the best, MMA refs in the scene. He does judging and he does reffing. Every time I see him at an event, he comes up to me. He's like, hey, man, what's up? He tells me he listens to the podcast all the time. I'm always like, bro, I want you to come on the podcast to talk. And he always tells me, listen, I would love to do that, but I have to be so careful what I say if I go, because I can get in trouble. It can have backlash on me. But yeah, you have people like Big John McCarthy, when he was signed to the UFC, doing his own podcast, running his mouth about, this fighter or that fighter, this promotion, that promotion. Yeah, Bruce Buffer saying this and that. Like, I don't like that. I'm not into that. Like, you need to stay in your lane. You are hired by the UFC. You should not be saying any of this. None of it. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat room here. Boom, boom. All right. BLT, ESPN will refresh totally. Ariel will be on the familiar face. And that's another thing. That is another thing here. Even if you hate Ariel Helwani, I love that ESPN signs him and then the UFC signs a deal with ESPN. Dana White has to be fucking smashing his head somewhere when that went through, because Ariel just sneaking in like UFC can't get rid of him. And if there's anyone out there that should be representing our sport that currently has their foot in the door with, MMA fans or, knowledge, I'd rather be Ariel Helwani over, Skip and Shannon talking about the UFC. And I do like the dynamic that Chael and Ariel are having there. But I do think it's really funny how Ariel just slipped in there. And I think it's great, man. I mean, I've been watching the MMA Hour with Luke Thomas. I mean, it just feels a little weird at this point because it's like, that's Ariel's show. But, man, I agree, man. This is going to open up a lot of doors. I hope. We can only hope. Cross our fingers. And I hope it does refurbish or bring back the Ultimate Fighter, because I'll be honest, Ultimate Fighter aired on last Wednesday? I haven't watched it yet. Like, I've been meaning to watch it, but I haven't watched it yet. And I know fighters that are on this season, but yeah, there's some reason I'm not into it. I haven't even seen I didn't even know it was starting up this week. Like, did anybody see any promotions outside of FS1? Because I certainly didn't. BLT, Dana knew how Tony feels when he found out that they wanted the mermaid. What the fuck? I don't know what the fuck that means, BLT. What the fuck are you talking about this? Well, what is that? BLT, I was just trolling him, but he took it well. Michelangelo, I don't think Bruce bashed Nate. He just misspoke. And that could be the case, but you have to be careful. Like, TMZ running up on you, you know it's going to be all over the place, man. You got to be careful. Another thing about TMZ, another good segue. TMZ, and I did an entire video on this. Logan Paul. Logan Paul versus KSI went down one of the biggest pay-per-views in internet history. $9, which is reasonable. I wish all pay-per-views were $9. There are fans backlashing, like, oh, they're stealing the UFC's club, blah, blah, blah. Bro, no MMA fans. Barely any MMA fans are really interested unless they're, what, 12, 16 years old. Of course, I'm covering it because I'm part of the media. I'm credentialed media. I do the show. Of course, we're going to talk about it. MMA Holes, I believe they did like a live reaction, which is great. If you're not following the MMA Holes yet, what the fuck are you doing? Make sure you subscribe to them. They go live, I believe, every Wednesday, and let me know in the comments there. But listen, KSI, Logan Paul, they did an amazing job promoting fighting, combat sports, period. And you guys might be mad that I said that, but here's why. Look at all the little kids. Like, we all start somewhere. I mean, I did my first interview at 7 years old with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Ever since then, I was obsessed. This is what I want to do ever since that moment. You got kids out there that watch YouTube all the time. They love Logan. They love Jake. They love Shane Dawson, blah, blah, blah. For them, too, KSI and Logan Paul to get in there, set this up themselves. It was very cringy. It was like Mayweather McGregor at the presser. Very cringy. But it's for kids, guys. It's for 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10 or 12, 50, whatever. Those kids, after watching that, getting into it, you know, making their predictions, placing bets, which is fucking crazy. I know there were kids out there placing bets on it, which is fucking totally illegal. That's fucking illegal, as Dana White would say. But it raises interest. Now there's kids, even if there's one person, one kid out there that saw that fight, got all involved with it, got hyped. Now they want to see some real fights. Now they want to see some real fighters, real talent. Now they're interested to watch Bellator. They're interested to watch UFC. They're going to tag along, figure out what this whole Conor McGregor thing is all about. Who's Nate Diaz? You know, we all start somewhere. Somewhere out there, that little internet pay-per-view, as cringy as it was, is only helping promote the UFC, only helping promote Bellator. When Logan Paul comes out on TMZ and goes, you know, I would love to step in the UFC. I would love to fight Conor McGregor. I would, blah, blah, blah. It's promoting our sport. That's all it's doing. No, I doubt Logan Paul will ever fight in the UFC. But just him talking about it does a lot of promotion. Look at how many people he reaches for every video. What, 5 million a video? Fucking ridiculous. Make a buck into $3. Blaze Blazation. Young entrepreneurial spirit. Logan Paul is bae. Hey! MMA Holes. Logan Paul is bae. And listen, the entire YouTube scene was in an uproar for that entire event. Now, the next step is, you know, fucking around saying, oh, let's, you know, set up a UFC fight. Sage Northcutt took the bait. Sage Northcutt took the fucking bait. And I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. Jake Paul, Logan Paul. First off, they went in there. Well, let me rewind even further. Before this fight even went down on TMZ, they were asked, you know, who would you like to fight? And I said, Conor McGregor, blah, blah, blah. And they even said, you know, I was an athlete in high school. I think I can do it. I think I have a shot. Bro, you stepped in there. You had fucking headgear on. You got pieced up, bro. You didn't look that bad. You really didn't. You didn't look that bad. I thought it could have been a lot worse. First off, it was a fucking draw, which is fucking bullshit. Start that off. But Sage Northcutt, if you go in there against Sage Northcutt, you're going to get murked, bro. You're going to get murked. There's no way around it. If you think you're going to go in there and it's going to take it easy on you, you're out of your fucking goddamn mind. That's not what's going to happen. And I don't think it's going to happen. But it's promoting our sport. Sage is smart, BLT says. CMP would get killed. I wouldn't mind, and what are the weight classes for CMP and Logan, but, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing that. And listen, I know everyone around is mad at me because I've been saying that I'm down for, you know, the entertainment side of it. I'm not mad at Colby Covington for doing his WWE shtick. I'm not mad at Logan Paul for calling out. I am a little mad, but I know there's a lot of people out there that get angry at me for saying this shit. Saying, you know, give CM Punk a second shot. But, guys, it's all about promoting the sport. That's all it's about. How many people do you know? And I know that, like, the diehards want to kind of keep our sport hush-hush. But that's not helping me. That's not helping the MMA holes. That's not helping other journalists out there. The bigger our sport gets, the bigger we're going to get. When Mayweather-McGregor came around, good segue there as well, 1 year ago. It was 1 year ago, like last week. Everyone was asking me about it. My entire family was on board with Mayweather-McGregor. My little sister was making bets with me. My bankers, fucking ice cream man. I say it all the time. What that fight did was open up so many new doors for us, in my eyes. It only helped us in the long run. So I'm not against UFC kind of taking on board. Like, if I was a fighter, and you might get mad, if fighters are listening, you might get mad at me saying this. If I was a fighter, and, well, CM Punk, his second time around, didn't do that well in numbers, but his first time in, people were hyped. They wanted to see what he could do. If I was a fighter, I would be begging to be on one of those cards because you're going to get a whole new audience on. And if there's one person out there that sees you fight and likes what they saw, they like your character, they like your style, they loved your walkout, now you got a new fan, man. And it's somebody that wouldn't have watched otherwise unless CM Punk was in there. That's why I'm on board for this. That's why I'm like, you know, I guess it is disrespectful for people like Logan or CM Punk to think that they can come into the UFC and, you know, make their way to the top or do whatever, but it's all promotion, guys. That's all it is. And now with the WME IMG era, you had to know this was coming. You had to know this was coming. CM BLT saying CM showed zero improvement from the Gall fight to the Jackson fight. He just isn't athletic, which is why I wouldn't mind seeing Logan go in there and fight, or Jake. No, either one. Michael Anzalone saying maybe Paul plays fifth in his state champs, I think, BLT says. And I wouldn't be surprised, but to say you did that in high school, like, bro, I was the captain of my defense in high school. I can't go in there now, even at high school level, and think I got what it takes, even if I went and started training again for football or baseball. I was on all the all-star teams when I was a kid. For me to say, oh, I can go in the MLB, oh, I can, like, get the fuck out of my face with that. Like, you have some balls to say that. You have some fucking balls to say that. Oh, I took karate as a kid. You know, that is impressive. High school, placing, you know, fifth in state champs, that is legit. But, man, to go to the UFC, that is a different level, bro. That is a totally... Look at the guys on Ultimate Fighter Undefeated season. Undefeated, go in there. They fight real matchups, the guys that have been in the UFC, and they just can't do it. They can't do it. Look at James Krause versus... Toothless Tom Galicchio in the finale a couple seasons ago. Was that the redemption season? James Krause, a vet in the UFC, a vet in Ultimate Fighter, made Tom Galicchio look so out of place. He made Tom Galicchio look like CM Punk, like he just didn't belong. And that's somebody who has a wrestling background, somebody that was really good at wrestling in college and high school, who trains with fucking Dan Henderson, like. It's just a different level going into the UFC, man. Like, you can't expect, and it's good to like have the mindset like I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. It's great to wake up every day, have, you know, be passionate about something, momentum, wake up excited. That's great, man. But there's a line. Like, if you think you're gonna go into the UFC, if Jake or Logan Paul thinks they're gonna go into the UFC, fight stage Northcutt, they're just gonna get completely embarrassed. Let's face it. But here's my point. Here's my point, what I don't mind, what I think the UFC should do, and then we'll move on. UFC, if they want to continue doing this, CM Punk or Logan Paul, whatever, if they want to continue doing it, make it a spectacle to the point where it's like, all right, you got the prelims and the main card, but in between, instead of having, you know, that stretch or that break, have, like when you go to the circus or something, there's the in-between, you know, what's the right word for it? The, like the 7th inning stretch where, you know, the mascot will run the field and fucking sumo wrestle somebody or something like that. Do something like that. Don't mix it into the actual main card. Don't mix it into the actual prelims. Like, make a statement saying, this is not at UFC level, but enjoy. You know, something like that, where people are... Because I feel like people are getting the wrong idea when they see CM Punk coming over and being like, oh, he's a wrestler, he's an athlete. And then he comes over and he can't even fight. Like, first off, I never, ever, ever want to see another 0-1 versus 0-1 fighter ever on another pay-per-view, ever. That just pisses me off. That rubs me the wrong way. But the UFC can, you know, work the way around it and do a little circus-ass, sumo, whatever you want to call it, whatever the word is for it. But I do not see this ending anytime soon at all. Mike Anselm, BLT, I get confused sometimes. Fat Times is full-time MMA, not food fight. What the fuck? I get so confused with you guys out here. Stewie motherfucking Griffin, Fat Time MMA, the People's Champ. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? You guys got me lost here. Food fights? Here, let's scroll up here. And if you're listening to the podcast right now, I'm sorry, I'm reading the live chat here. BLT, yes, I think Logan Paul would murder CM Punk. Are you guys down to see that fight? Because I wouldn't mind seeing CM Punk versus Logan Paul. I think, like, there's no way Sage Northcutt's going to fight him. But Sage Northcutt says, you know, come get these hands. So we'll see what happens here. All right, moving on because I spent way too much time talking about that. UFC is very mad at Conor McGregor for not doing media runs. What do you guys think about this? Because in my mind, Conor McGregor doesn't really need to do any media leading up to this fight. Like, he already is Conor McGregor. Everyone knows who Conor McGregor is. My mom knows. My uncles know. Anytime I go to, like, a family event, like today, I'll be going to my brother's house. People will be asking me about MMA. Only fighter they usually know is Conor McGregor. So I get a little, you know, frustrated talking about it all the time. But like I said a minute ago, I enjoy it. It helps me out. It gets people interested in to see what I do. But Conor McGregor, in my eyes, does not need to do any media runs. He did the world tour with the Aldo thing. He did an amazing job at the UFC 205 press conference. I mean, made everybody at that press conference look like they just didn't belong, like they were in the fucking schoolyard. He made Eddie Alvarez look fucking childish that day. He went in there and did things big. I would like to see at least one press conference, right? One press conference. Give us one press conference of Conor McGregor and Khabib going back and forth, talking with one another. Like, let's go back and look at the Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor press conference that they had in kind, like, immediately, because remember, RDA got pulled out and they were trying to find the replacement. Nate Diaz gets the fight and they immediately set up a press conference. That's what they need to do here. Just one quick press conference to get everybody on board, that, you know, more hyped up, because let's face it, man. How many people tune in to even watch the press? Every time Conor's on a free press conference, people are tuning in. When Mayweather versus McGregor was touring, doing the whole press conference thing, and it was cringy, but I went to the Brooklyn one. I went to the Barclays Center, and it was sold out. Like, people were paying actual money. Like, those tickets went out for free. People were paying $50 a pop. And yes, it was cringy, the whole Dougie Fresh thing, but it was one of the best moments. Like, I'll never forget that shit. Like, that was a lot of fun. Conor McGregor brings that element to the table. So I do understand why the UFC is a little frustrated with him, but he has to beat Khabib, right? Like, he can't make the same mistakes that Ronda made. Like, so many people have made before in the past, where it's like you spend too much time promoting the fight and getting wrapped up in all that. That takes away from, you know, your preparation or getting ready. And you could take that with a grain of salt, because it's like, what is it to you to even just do a Skype interview with them or whatever? But come on, like, you got to give us something, Conor. You got to give us something. Like, we're all expecting one presser, because that's part of his game plan, right? That's part of what Conor does. He gets into people's head. He plays that whole... It's literally part of his fight strategy, where he gets in people's heads. Like, all you have to say to Khabib is like, dude, you got a little dick. That will go a far way. Khabib's going to get pissed. Like, every guy out there knows. If you tell a guy he has a little dick, it's going to get in their fucking head. And with the guys that are walking out in tights, especially Conor with, you know, how he flaunts his fucking package. There are a lot of things that guys can block out of their heads, but that is one thing. If somebody exposes them on, like, you got a little dick, it's going to fucking bother that person. That's all Conor has to say. And everyone gets excited to see, like, what is Conor going to say? How is he going to approach this? What's he going to do? But he has crossed the line multiple times, especially with RDA or walking out with the El Chapo. But one thing that fans don't like what Conor's been doing in his press conference is talking about how rich he is and shit like that. I don't mind any of it. Just give me anything. Like, we will eat that shit up. We will fucking eat that shit right up. Come on. I do understand why the UFC is a little upset. Do you guys agree with me here? Like, Conor has to do at least one press conference with Khabib. And there's a lot of people out there like, oh, Khabib he's just going to brush it off his shoulder. Tell Khabib he has a little dick, and we'll see how easy that brushes off his shoulder. Because Khabib has to walk out in tights. Like, he will feel self-conscious. People, look at Mayweather immediately at the weigh-ins. Eyes right on Conor's dick. Eyes right on Conor's dick. Like, you can't miss it. You cannot fucking miss the dick. Oh my God. When I rewatch this. You can't miss the dick, bro. It's just how it is. Everyone knows. And I will say, I don't think Conor's dick is that big. Like, I'll whip mine out right here. Fluff it up a little bit real quick. We all know. Come on. His dick ain't that big, but, like, Conor's posting these photos. It's fucking porn. Like, if I went in my bathroom and took a photo like that, it's getting taken down in a second. Fucking everyone was retweeting Conor's dick. It's part of his... It's becoming who he is. It's becoming who he is. You can't get away from it. So, I don't know where I was expecting to go with that. I don't know where my fucking phone went, but I don't know. What do you guys think about this whole Conor McGregor, Khabib Nurmagomedov media thing? Like, give us one, right? Give us one. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat room here. Let me scroll down. Okay, got it. I'll write it down. Michael Angelon says, we're weird, Mike. All right. No, my G, that only you looking at the dick. Says Stewie Griffin. Oh, I hate you, Stewie. I hate you. I hate you. You asshole. MMA holes with the with that emoji. BLT. I didn't like Paddy for boxing Fred B. On Torres MMA Twitter troll that hasn't been since Paddy outed him. I like Fred B. Oh, another big thing. I told you guys we were going to talk about Invicta FC. We're going to talk about Paddy Pimblett. Man, Paddy, here's my thoughts on Paddy Pimblett. He missed his opportunity to come over when he had the chance. What was it, like a year ago? Paddy, his contract was up over there for Cage Warriors. He got on an Ariel show, did the interview with Ariel Helwani. Throughout the interview, it sounded like he was signed to the UFC. There was even like one quote in the interview where he was like, that's why I'm signing to the UFC and these other guys aren't. Come to find out, he doesn't sign. He actually re-signs with Cage Warriors and decides to stay over there. And then since then, I believe he's lost 2 fights. Like, in my eyes, he's missed the opportunity to come over to the UFC when his stock was at its highest. Now, don't get me wrong, guys, because I know, everyone overseas across the pond is diehard for Paddy. We even seen it like the first time he lost recently. Like, people were throwing shit inside the cage. People were going sick, which I don't fucking like. Like, if you're in an MMA event and you're throwing shit inside the ring, like, fuck you for that. Fuck you for that. If I ever see somebody do that, I'm gonna snap. I don't care if I'm on press row and it's out of line for me to speak up. If I see somebody throw anything inside the cage or the boxing, you're getting some words exchanged, man. Because that shit pisses me off. But it just shows you how many people out there are so on board with Paddy Pimblett to be the next big thing for them over in Europe. I really feel he missed his shot to come over because now, let's face it, you get this loss, your stock's in a lower, man. And I know this is going to piss people off, but he missed his shot to come over to the UFC. Like, What is he going to do next? Now he has to get a couple of wins. His contract's going to be up. Then is the UFC going to be all on board? Like, it's very frustrating. Like Eminem says. Eminem said. And kudos to his new album, but I will not bump that shit in public. I feel weird when, like, Eminem was cool in 4th grade, but, like, if I ride around my city bumping the new Eminem, I'm going to feel like a fucking weirdo. Like, I'll bump it here in studio. It's a lot better than his past albums, but I just feel fucking weird going out there and bumping Eminem. But either way, Eminem at one point said, you know, you got to lose yourself in the moment. You got to take that shot when the door opens up. You got to fucking take it. Like, you only get one shot to not miss your chance to blow, because opportunity comes once in a lifetime, right? That's what Conor said. That's what Eminem said. Paddy Pimblett, man, this is the risk that you took when you didn't sign the contract with the UFC. Like, do you really think Cage Warriors is like your biggest promotion? That is where you wanted to stay? I understand him being like, I want to make sure that I'm ready when I go over to the UFC, but come on, bro. Come on. What do you guys think about this? Let me know on Twitter at evil_echo and on Instagram at Pure EVil MMA _. MMA hole second in. Let's see. Paddy looks like he's Jim Henson's creation. Who is Paddy, says Michael Anslone. BLT, Paddy Pamphlet. He fought for the lightweight title on last night's Cage Warriors card. And lost, is what happened, unfortunately. First round, man, I was like, he's got this. And then he loses every round after that. I was just like, holy shit, Paddy, no, Paddy. And that shit happens. It's mixed martial arts. That shit's going to happen. One guy wins, one guy loses. But lose 4 rounds like that was just like, what the fuck? Frustrating for a lot of people out there. Eddie, what kind of music do you like? Do you like Jimi Hendrix? I like it all, man. I'm a metal, like, I've been in metal, hardcore bands going back to high school. I even uploaded some of my music here on the YouTube page. If you guys want to check that out, you can drop the link. Where's my phone? All you got to do is type in Pure EVil MMA. Or actually, it's in a playlist, Eddie's old band. But I play hardcore music. I got my acoustic. I'm always, you know, I love Tool, Deftones. Recently, I've been listening to a lot of Russ, Mac Miller, MGK, diehard fucking MGK fan. You know, growing up, I went to all the Ozfest. Like, my dad's friends with like a lot of bikers, so support 81. But I always go to the VIP sections of Ozfest and shit like that. Last time I went, you guys know my story. Last time I went to an Ozfest, my girlfriend passed away when she was on her way to pick me up, so that's why I got a little stuttery talking about it. But yeah, Ozfest, hardcore music. Hatebreed is from right here in New Haven. If you guys listen to Hatebreed, that's my shit. Like, Jamie Josta grew up right down the road from me. Jamie Josta, he's always talking about MMA in the MMA scene. He's been on a lot of MMA podcasts. So yeah, I like hardcore music, rap. You know, it's almost 2020. Like, I feel like my generation listens to it all. But I like a lot of old school hardcore shit. Like, even like old school rage is shit. Is sick. But Blood for Blood, one of my favorite hardcore bands. If I got to give one suggestion, one of my favorite hardcore bands out there, and they're from Connecticut, is With Honor. My favorite fucking band. If you like bands that get you motivated, pumped up, that, you know, after a fall you want to get back up and shine, feel motivated, look at life from a different angle, from an inspiring angle, With Honor's where it's at. And the best album they've released is called This Is Our Revenge. As a matter of fact, when I opened the show up, that was a local band called Bateman. CT Hardcore. CT Hardcore, motherfuckers. Thousand Demons. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, MMA holes checking in. Ozfest was the shit, man. I was at every Ozfest year after year. Like I said, my dad is very close to a lot of motorcycle clubs. So we always had VIP, front row, Avenged Sevenfold, fucking, oh man. So many great memories of Ozfest. I live and die for that scene, man. I live and die for that scene. I played a lot of shows growing up. And like I said, I'll share some of my music here. But let's move on with today's show. We talked about Sage. Also, Nick Diaz. His domestic violence case is dropped. So when is it time for this guy to finally come back? Like 18 months. I tweeted this out. 18 months for smoking weed? Like, what the fuck is wrong with the UFC? Like, what the fuck is wrong with USADA for banning somebody 18 months? Like, in this world of mixed martial arts, these fighters are getting paid when they fight. They don't make $100K a year like a nurse where it's promised to them. You take work away for 18 months, a year and a half, you're fucking someone's life up, man, for smoking weed. That's all he was doing, was just smoking weed. Like, that just seems way too harsh. That's cruel and unusual, if you ask me. Like I said, it's 2020 almost. And you're fucking suspending people for smoking marijuana for 18 months? The fuck is wrong with you? The fuck is wrong with you? And yet there's people, I just get so mad. Like, it's a shit show. It's a shit show. USADA is a shit show. I will say this, though, about USADA. Like, it is cool seeing, like, Michael Bisping be able to come up and have a fair shot against opponents that aren't, on PEDs and shit like that. I love that. I love that. Even GSP was like, I'm not coming back to the UFC until they fix all this shit. That fight that he had against Johnny Hendricks was very frustrating because he thought Johnny was, using something. We didn't know what, but he thought Johnny Hendricks was using something. And we've seen what happened. Once USADA came over, Johnny Hendricks lost that oomph, right? He's lost that edge that he's had. And GSP wanted to return. I do enjoy that about USADA, but to suspend somebody for 18 months, like, fuck out of our face with that bullshit there. Like, I want to see Nate and Nick fight on the same fucking card, and those are the rumors that have been going around. And how cool would that be? Like, Nate and Nick both on the same card, never happened before. And imagine not only having Nate and Nick on the card, but imagine Valentina and Antonina also. Like, that would be kind of cool. Like, a brother and sisters, brother, sister and sister on one card. Like, that would be so sick. I'd be all for that. Like, why not make that happen? Because people will talk another, that's a PR plus right there in my eyes. Let's see what the chat room's saying. Michael Angelo and Eddie, they tried to do that to Nick Diaz too. USADA is good when it comes to cases like John Jones, but Nick Diaz for weed is stupid. And I 100% agree, man. Like, I need to see Nick back in the octagon. Last time he fought, we were waiting for him to come back, and he fights Anderson Silva, and we had a shit show. That fight sucked. We got a couple good memes out of it, but that fucking fight sucked so much. Not the fight that we wanted. And that was the beginning. That was the fight that started off our, 2015, I believe? 2016? 2015, I think. Right? Started off the year with Anderson Silva versus Nick Diaz. Correct me if I'm wrong. It started off either 2015 or 2016. But that was the last time we saw Nick in there. And it's like, come on. You have, right now, you have everybody on board with Nate after all these years. It's like, oh, that's Nick's little brother. That's Nick's little brother. That's Nick's little brother. Now Nate is like the top dog, Diaz. And it's like, UFC really fucked himself with the USADA thing, the 18-month. Because in that time after the Conor McGregor fights, you could have made so much money. You could have sold a lot of pay-per-views if you just brought Nick back, man. That's what the fans wanted. The fans go sick for the Diaz brothers. They're hordes of a different color in this game. They are their own characters. And it's another thing, like, people cringe, like, oh, Colby Covington being WWE. That's not his real persona. The Diaz brothers, that's actually them. Like, they keep it 100. Like, even going into the press conference with Conor McGregor, like, it was so cool because we all knew, like, Nate doesn't give a fuck what Conor's going to say to him. So, it's just going to go in one ear and out the other. And there was a lot of people out there that thought Nate won that first press conference that they had. It was like, everyone's on steroids. Fuck you. Like, fuck you. Like, everyone was all about that shit. Like, what? You're losing money, man. You're losing money. Like, you think it's a better idea to bring over CM Punk than to fucking erase the ban on Nick Diaz. I will also say this, though. It did not look good at all for Nick when this case came out about the domestic violence, which is why I'm so happy to tell you guys that it is finally dropped. It's finally gone. So now it's time to get him back inside the fucking octagon. Like, it can't go on any longer. It really can't. We can't wait much longer for that. All right, so Invicta FC 31 going down last night. Let's give a huge shout out to Mallory fucking Martin on that dominant performance. Going in the first round, she gets dropped by her opponent. I was at the edge of my seat. I was freaking out, having a heart attack. Oscar was, my dog was looking at me like, what's wrong with Dad? My rats were going sick, running around like, this place was, it was a war zone last night watching Invicta FC. I was at the edge of my seat. Mallory Martin lost the first round on my card. The second round going in, she won that. You know, the takedowns, big plus, so dominant on top. Third round goes in there, I'm like, all right. It comes down to this. It's 1-1 on my scorecard. Mallory goes in there, just shuts the show down, man. And if you guys remember Mallory's last fight, she got the opponent down, just bashing away. No one can save you. No one can save you. Gotta love that shit. Gotta love that shit, man. That's the shit that the UFC wants to see. So anyone out there, like, all right, going back to Cage Titans last week, a couple weeks ago, you got Chris O'Brien, my boy. Shout out to Chris O'Brien, teammate with Joe Giannetti. Shout out to them South Shore boys. But listen, he did an amazing job doing the walkout, promoting the entire fight, getting everybody on board to, you know, see what was going to happen. His walkout was phenomenal. His mic skills, his interviews, all on point. Going in there, in the fight, he looked a little stiff, a little nervous. But this is at the amateur level. Chris has already figured out that, yeah, you need to go in there. He needs to relax, first off. He needs to relax in his fight. His coaches will deal with that. But this kid already knows more than a lot of professionals out there that are knocking on the UFC door, or even in the UFC, that they don't know how to go about things. They don't know how to promote their own fights. They don't know how to get people interested to see them. This isn't football. This isn't baseball. This isn't basketball. When you tune into a fight card, you're going to get 2 new guys every 15 minutes, and it's going to keep going. 2 guys every... What is going to make you stand out from the guy before you or the guy after you? And there's amateurs out there that are figuring out already. Chris O'Brien. Mallory Martin on that same boat, man. This girl is a pro. She got 3 wins in a row. She's going there, cutting promos inside during the fight. Let's look at last night's clip here. I posted up on my Instagram page. Hey, first one to pop up, matter of fact, is Mallory Martin on my my Instagram. And she supports Pure EVil MMA. Every time I go through my Instagram live stories, she's always showing love. Yeah, look. So my post from last night, first person up there is Mallory Martin, if you can fucking see that, because the shit is a little blurry. So shout out to Mallory Martin, always supporting Pure EVil MMA, and to watch her go in there, get the finish like she did. Check this out.
Big elbows, Nichols in trouble, great, taking a look, and it's done! Mallory Martin finishes her in the 3rd round from the brink of defeat in the 1st round.
Come on! Come on.
Progressed from having, she hasn't gotten down or anything yet, but nice elbows right there.
Big elbows, Nichols in trouble, great, taking a look, and it's done! Mallory Martin finishes her in the 3rd round from the brink of defeat in the 1st round.
Oh, man. That's what we love. We eat that shit up. Like that fucking prehistoric female scream going in there, just so dominant. Her story is so amazing. Losing her father. Even her last fight, it got called off. She was supposed to fight for CES 50, I believe, and her opponent, it was just a shit show. She wasn't able to fight. I was very upset. She came onto the show after that to talk to us and determined to go back to Invicta. And to see her get this fight, to get this win, is just so huge. I'm so happy for her. So shout out to Mallory Martin on the W, man, because it's so hard watching fighters that you've interviewed lose a fight. And that happened also yesterday on Invicta FC 31, where we saw our girl Lindsay Van Zandt take an L, man. And that first round, it was so impressive, first off, to see Lindsay Van Zandt not tap. But how far does that really go? Shout out to Prime Athletics, shout out to Sean Rock, because he has some phenomenal fighters like Fabio Charant. I mean, the list goes on and on with fighters they manage. But It's hard to see a fighter that you've been talking to, you've interviewed, and rule number one is, you know, you don't have a relationship with fighters. As media, that's rule number one, right? But it's hard to see a fighter lose after you've interviewed. Ask the MMA host, Justin Sumner, who I just had in studio. Justin Sumner was the first guest on the MMA host ever, according to Chris. That's what he's told me. So I believe it was Fort Sumner, Justin Sumner. Well, he gets a shot to go on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. Goes in there and gets brutally knocked out. That shit's hard to fucking watch. A knockout is so fucking hard to watch. Nick Newell going to Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series, not winning. That was hard to watch. But even watching a fighter get knocked out, that's the fucking worst. Especially when you're cage side and you see these families stepping up. Like, for instance, lion fight. I'm on press row at lion fight. Every time somebody's, you know, family member is in there for a fight, they'll walk up as close as they can get till security's like, guys, far enough. And when they lose, you see the expression on the family's face, on the girlfriend's face that can barely watch, like, you know, hiding behind her father. You know, that shit's hard. This is a very rough sport. And this is a very brutal sport because, I mean, you're taking fucking damage. I mean, to get knocked out brutally, look at going back to, like, there's been some brutal knockouts before in the past where you can clearly see somebody's brain shut off, or just look at Vic versus Gaethje. I mean, Justin Gaethje knocks James Vic out cold. The 1-2. James Vic is out. 30 seconds later, 45 seconds later, Justin goes up to, you know, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, showing his respect. And James Vic goes in there for a takedown. Goes in there for a single leg takedown. That shit's hard to see. Brendan Schaub, when Brendan Schaub got knocked out, and he got knocked out a lot, but it was hard to see that shit, man. It's hard to see, like, somebody's brain shut out. Rashad Evans getting knocked out, going cross-eyed. Like, that shit sticks. That people will take that, make memes of it, make fun of you, and that's just all extra shit. That's even more pain that, the MMA scene causes. But to see the look on people's faces that know these fighters is a very hard thing to go through. The Cat Zingano screen, says Michael Ansel. 100%, man. That's exactly what that is. The Cat Zingano scream. Mallory Martin got it down pat. And that's what we eat up. We eat that shit up, man. You cannot, hold on. Let's see what BLT's saying here, because I am missing a lot of these comments here. You can't beat Zach Freeman throwing away his chance to make 10 times his annual salary by talking about furniture instead of how he smashed Pico. Isn't that a shame? Like, even the guy who beat Nick Newell, I know Joe kind of commented on it. It was like, the headlines weren't, and shame on me for not even remember the kid's name, the guy's name that beat Nick, but all the headlines were Nick Newell loses. It wasn't this guy wins. It was all Nick Newell loses. Michael Anzone, I hear you, Eddie. It broke my heart when Sumner lost. It was a hard thing to watch, man. I had him in the studio, and he's very well aware. And we're all very well aware of that. In this scene, there are plenty of different pathways to get to the UFC. You can have this shot on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. It may not go your way. There is still another route. You still have another shot to get in there. Yo, Mikey, the bit Stewie, Mo Seti, Steve Sparks, welcome to Pure EVil MMA, man. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give it a click. Also, guys, we are on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, all that good stuff. Let me just really quickly make sure I didn't lose, because I got a party to get through in 25 minutes. But there's just been so much MMA news that has been going around, despite not having a UFC event. And I do like these little breaks. Like, I really enjoy, every other week. But it is a little lonely. But at the same time, it gives opportunities to promotions like Invicta or Bellator. Like, what? Like, first off, I still don't understand why Bellator hasn't got this. Like, why are you matching up your cards the same night the UFC does? I can understand them doing like a shitty pay-per-view where people aren't going to buy and they'll be like, oh, I'm interested in watching fights, but I don't have $70 to pay to watch a shit show of fighters I really don't want to see. But Bellator is on. Let me tune into Bellator. I understand that, but this weekend would have been a perfect weekend for Bellator to have a card live on fucking tape delay, live. Why can't they figure that out? That's what they need to do. But yet, nope. So I am happy Invicta got that spotlight last night. Nick Newell was Alex Munoz. Alex Munoz is the guy who beat Nick Newell. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Fight announcements. Let's say here. Curtis Blades versus Francis Ngannou 2 is going down to November 24th in Beijing. How about that? I would love to fly out to Beijing. Like, the Beijing community is going to be going. Those are the fights that they love out in Beijing, right? Like, two huge dudes just going there. You know there's going to be a... Well, we said the same thing about Derek Lewis versus Francis. This is the rematch. And listen, Curtis Blades, I interviewed him right after he lost to Francis Ngannou. And he was so adamant that he was going to get that fight back. That was his goal, that he wanted to get the Francis Ngannou fight back. Because let's go back, if you guys remember, he didn't get knocked out by Francis. He just took a lot of damage, but he was still going in there. The ref, the doctor called it off. It was a doctor stoppage. And Curtis was like, dude, let me fucking fight. But he got busted off. I was satisfied seeing them end that fight, but Curtis wasn't having it. You know, this guy has been training for years out in Colorado, training with Brendan Schaub, his old gym out there. He's training with some of the best guys, and he's been making a huge name for himself. He's going through guys left and right, and to get this rematch is huge for him. However, I am nervous for Curtis Blades because Francis Ngannou has got his back up against the wall, and that's a scary position to be in if you're the opponent. Because Francis Ngannou, yeah, he lost to Stipe, and now he's lost to Derek Lewis. I doubt if he loses again, the UFC is going to let him go, but that's besides the point. Everyone's been saying, oh, he's got an ego problem. Oh, he wasn't pulling the trigger in there because he's afraid. Well, now you're giving him a guy that he's already beat, so his confidence is right back. Like, I already beat this guy. You know, not undermining him or anything, but it definitely helps with the confidence level. It will definitely be a better fight than what we saw against Derek Lewis, because I was nervous watching that fight. I was like, if I was these guys, I'd be shitting my fucking pants, because one punch lands, it's over. It's fucking over. That fight was a huge letdown, but I really believe Francis Ngannou has a shot here to get back on board. I don't think if he beats Curtis again, it's gonna give him a fucking title shot next. Doubt that's gonna happen, but he's definitely back in the picture, because if you lose 3 fights in a row, man, it's not good for anybody. Curtis Blades making the comeback that he's had. He was aiming to get the fight against Stipe Miocic. I wanted to see that fight. I was all for it. Even James McSweeney on Gloves Off was saying, listen, Curtis Blades deserves that fucking title shot way more than anyone else, including Brock Lesnar. Like, fuck Brock Lesnar. This guy came out of nowhere and expects a title shot against DC. Well, Stipe isn't the current champ, but I was on board to see Curtis Blades versus Stipe. That was the fight I want to see, because if Curtis beat Stipe, that should have been enough to get him the DC fight. And can you imagine DC versus Curtis Blades? That would be a fucking phenomenal fight. Phenomenal fight. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going down November 24th. Also, UFC 229 main card has been announced. It's going to be Tony Ferguson versus Showtime Pettis. That is a fucking banger right there. OSP versus Dominic Reyes. Derek Lewis versus Volkan. Come on. Michelle Waterson versus Felice Herrig. That is a fucking banger right there. That card's sick. I'm all on board for that fight. All on board for UFC 229. That is going down, I believe, in a couple of weeks here. The next fight that we have is UFC 228, Woodley versus Till. It's going down September 8th, so next week. Before we go, let's take a quick look at that card. I believe I posted it up on my Instagram page, but let me go to the UFC fan app. I am so bummed out that the Fantasy League is gone. I really am. Like, I had so much fun doing the UFC pick'ems. I had so much fucking fun doing that shit. Like, why did you take that away from us? So many people were bonding with that shit. Alright, so UFC 228 looks like this. Darren Till, well, Woodley versus Darren Till. And keep in mind, Darren Till is still undefeated. He has 1 draw, but he's still undefeated. 17-0. Woodley, 18-3. But I'm picking Woodley for this fight, man. Like, I think Woodley's gonna get a finish here. Then the co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko is going to be fighting the champ, Nico Montano. Another fight where I'm like, you know, everyone's undermining Nico Montano, but Once you won on that season Ultimate Fighter, the whole point of having the title there and to have people like Barb Honchak, Lauren Murphy, like whoever was going to go in there for that title, it can't just be a whole bunch of people we don't know that get the UFC strap. They have to at least go through these veterans like Barb Honchak, Roxanne Modafferi, and Lauren fucking Murphy. And those were the 3 girls expected to win it all. Nico Montano went in there and said, no. Ain't happening, man. This is all me. The girl is 5-2. She's 29 years old. Even beaten Roxanne Modafferi in the finale. She gets the little octagon, taste in the octagon. But Valentina Shevchenko, I understand, she is on a whole different fucking level. 15-3 record, #1 contender. I've interviewed her numerous times, talked to her in person. She's a lovely girl. Her sister now in the UFC after winning on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. That's fucking awesome. And I do believe she's going to win. But I believe this is going to be more competitive than a lot of people think out there. Also on this card, oh my God, Zabit. They found an opponent for Zabit. He's going to be fighting Brandon Davis, who is currently 9-4, coming off a loss to Enrique Barzola. Before that, he had a win against Steven Peterson. Before that, a loss to Kyle Bochniak. Zabit has beat Kyle Bochniak before in the past. Zabit's only lost 1 fight, man. 27 years old, has amazing fucking wrestling. He is on a 3-fight win streak since coming to the UFC. I know Joe Giannetti was aiming to get that fight, but Davis is getting thrown to the wolves there. Also, oh my God. Jessica Andrade versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. How about that fight, man? Jessica Andrade, the way she looked in her last couple of fights, especially against Tisha Torres, how she looked against Claudia Gadelha was just mind-blowing. Like, this girl's a little fucking machine. She is a legitimate, like, how did she not get tired? How is her cardio that good? She was not stopping in that fight against Claudia. That was very impressive. And then going there against Tisha Torres, man, fucking phenomenal. But she looked like garbage against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Ever since then, she's looked amazing, though. And Karolina Kowalkiewicz, man, still at #4. She's on a 2-fight win streak. She beat Jodie Esquibel. She beat Felice Herrig. Man. She can get her foot right back in the door if she beats Andrade here. That would be a huge statement to make. Before that, she lost to Joanna and Claudia. But to see what Andrade did to Claudia, I still can't get over that. That was really on a different level. Let's see. Nico Price is on this card against Alisson. Carla Esparza against Tatiana Suarez. That is a defining moment for both these girls. If Carla wins against Tatiana Suarez, it will show everybody that she still got it, that she is onto some, she's on a new level. She's on a new level. I keep saying it, but it's true, man. Like, if Carla beats Tatiana has been killing it. She's still undefeated. 7-0, won that season Ultimate Fighter that she was on. Coming off a win to Alexa Grasso, Vivian Pereira, Amanda Bobby Cooper. Like, those are 3 very tough girls. But Carla Esparza at the same time proving to everybody that she still got game, man. She is coming off a loss to Claudia, but before that beating Cynthia Calvillo, Marin Moroz. She lost to Randa Marcos. So if she loses here, it's going to, a lot of people are going to mark her off as an official, not troll, but gatekeeper. They're going to call it troll. Gatekeeper. Why did I think of a troll? Like a bridge? I was thinking of like a bridge, like trolls hide under the bridge. You must pay the toll troll to get in the boys' hole. I hope you guys know what I'm talking about there. Pay the toll troll to get in the girls' hole. All right, so that card's coming up September 8th. It looks like there's a lot of great fights here. Definitely worth $70 in my eyes. Aljamain Sterling versus Cody Stamann. Jamie Rivera back against John Dodson. We got to get Jimmy. It might be too late since it's a week away. Who else is on this card? Diego Sanchez is on the card, going up against White. Jim Miller versus White. 2 whites in a row. Pudilova versus Aldana. 2 smoke shows. Benoit is back at it. Ryan Benoit, or Benoit as people are calling him, Babyface, is back against Roberto Sanchez. That should be a good fight as well, and that's going to be on the undercard. Yeah, this is a fucking stellar card. UFC 228, September 8th. After that, the lineup goes September 15th. We got Mark Hunt versus Olenek. That should be a fucking great fight. Really quickly, let's see who's on that card. Juan Blackworth versus Nikita Krylov. Andrei Arlovski versus Akhdumanov. Jesus Christ, these fucking names. Guys, there's some great events coming up. Live on FS1, Manor versus Santos, September 22nd. And that gets us to UFC 229, October 6th. So yeah, September 22nd to October 6th, there's going to be no UFC cards. We already know UFC 229, Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. We're going to be touching on that multiple times as we get closer and closer to the fight. I really am pushing for a press conference, at least one. You got to give it to us. Got to give it to us. All right, I got to get away. I got to get to this fucking party. My road is actually blocked off. They're having a block party, which is fucking bullshit. Like, I'm all for having a block party, but you can't fucking block me into my fucking road. Fucking bullshit. But guys, thank you for tuning in to episode number 146 of Pure EVil MMA. We got through a lot here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure if you want to get some new merch, we got it up at teespring.com/Pure Evil Summer. Teespring.com/Pure Evil Summer. And also, I got some new designs working on the way. But you guys can get your hands on some of the latest merch, like mugs. Start your day off right. Pour a nice cup of hot Joe into your Pure EVil MMA mug. Start the day off right. Throw the podcast on. And guys, subscribe on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify. Bring us to the gym with you. Bring us on a hike. Bring us to the beach. And I love when people take a picture to show me where they're watching the show. That's one of my favorite things about doing this, like when they're tuning in the podcast. And also, Podbean, we broke 10K downloads on Podbean this year. Fucking exciting shit. So big things going. iTunes is our biggest platform, but we are also now on Spotify. Everyone has Spotify. It's so simple. Like, you don't have to go out, download a podcast app like Podbean. I love Podbean, but everyone has Spotify. You can listen to any musical artist, and now you can listen to the Pure EVil MMA podcast. Guys, last but not least, what is my schedule looking like this week? I have more in-studio interviews. Jesse James, Kovalkiewicz, Mike Kimball supposed to be stopping by. Harrison Adamo going to be in studio. I would like to get Nick Newell in studio because we just had Justin Sumner. Also, we just had Harris Bonfiglio in studio. We got all those interviews down below here on YouTube, iTunes, and what have you. Guys, hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy this beautiful weather. We got a 3-day weekend. I got more content coming your way. Also, get ready for Gloves Off, episode 5, where we're going to explain why we had to take down episode 3. You're going to fucking lose your mind when you hear what happened. Guys, subscribe down below. I'm Evil Lady from Pure EVil MMA, mymmanews.com. Remember, without evil, there's no purity. Behave yourselves.